Moon gang.
Welcome back to the casino, folks. We are here in Power Hour in lovely stock market crypto land, and we have about an hour to go, 60 minutes for some fun in the sun. Best of luck to all. Folks, what is going on? I hope you miss me as much as I missed you. Some would say that it's a form of codependence. Other people would just say it's a nice, healthy digital relationship, whatever you want to call it. Let's be a little bit more positive and let's see what we have brewing for this particular Power Hour. Folks, before we get into anything stock related, I need to share a little news story I was just consuming myself. So I don't know if you've seen that movie Molly's Game. I don't know the name of the actress, some redheaded lady who's a very good actress. Her name escapes me at the moment, but it's about this lady who moved to LA, then she moved to New York, and she was running a high stakes poker game. The likes of like Ben Affleck, Tobey Maguire, and that was just like the actor world. Like you had these big wig mobsters, Wall Streeters, blah, 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 all of it. It's a crazy movie. Check it out. It's called Molly's Game. Well, anyway, Jessica Chastain, that's it. Jessica Chastain, I appreciate that. She's a very good actress. Anyway, Business Insider had done, like, I was just watching this like video interview with her, and she was saying in one night, like the minimum buy-in was $250K minimum buy-in. So like this is like the rich of the rich, and people would blow through it, she said, in like the first like half hour. Well, she said in one night she actually saw someone lose $100 million. Where do you have to be in your life to like lose $100 million? Now, this was not documented in the movie. This was literally just in an interview. That's crazy. $100 million. There's been days that I've lost, I don't know, like $25,000 in a day, and I like want to vomit. It makes me like physically ill. It's awful. We're not even talking six figures, and this person is losing like so much more. $100 million. Crazy. I don't even know if our brains can wrap around that. $100 million. That's money that 30 of us together commonly don't see in your lifetime. Like you could take 30 of us, our total income, you put that together, a group of us, a classroom of us. And that's what someone lost in a night. Wow. So anyway, I watched that. And then I was like, well, I wonder like what else do these crazy wealthy people do? So then I stumbled across this other thing where it was kind of documenting what they believe to be some of the richest people in history. And yes, right now, like people talk about Elon and stuff, but historically, when you address for like the time and inflation and all that, there actually is other people in history that they think have been more, I guess, wealthy relative to their time. And there was this one guy way back when in Africa who was traveling, I believe, from like West to East Africa, and he was super, super wealthy, some like fancy king pharaoh guy. And when he was traveling, he was doing this like pilgrimaging. Well, on his way, he brought all these people that had like gold and diamonds and silks and all this stuff. And every so often, he would stop at the little towns when he was like going to his final destination. Well, this guy was known to, I guess, just kind of like be lavish and spread wealth and everything. He did it so much that the cities he stopped by, like he was just giving out gold and diamonds and precious other stones, that he actually messed up all of these local economies. Imagine if the best way I could like really point out is like, imagine if like Elon came to a small rural town and just gave everyone like $5-10 million. Do you know how much that would mess with the entire economy of an area if everyone had that money and all of a sudden just like, what even matters at that point? Like gasoline, rent, diners, who's going to work? Like this guy like unintentionally ruined multiple economies just because of how much he donated to everyone. Because at that point, like if everyone just has money now, like, well, literally, I guess just no one's going to work. And way back when, they didn't have robots or AI or anything. This is hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to give that out. Are you going to talk about the stimulus check? You know, I just heard a little bit, and I didn't know. I was a little hesitant. I didn't want to spread false news. I saw something about it, but I thought it was like kind of murmurs. The main Fed or the main government thing I was seeing was more along the lines of the Fed, and they're confirming that we will know by Thanksgiving of who the next federal chairman is, or if it will remain as Jerome Powell. The stimulus thing, I don't want to spread any false information here, and I'm not seeing anything from the news sources I personally trust. Hang on, let me just check one more. I know one more I could check. Here we go. Judge dismisses meme suit versus Robinhood, Citadel Securities, DJ Hood. I just wanted to share this with you. This was something important. Judge dismisses meme stock lawsuit against Robinhood and Citadel Securities. Ruling says evidence found by investigators' lawyers wasn't strong enough to support accusations of illegal collusion. I wanted to bring that up. This isn't the newest thing. This is what Gasparino had been tweeting about this morning, but I mean, kind of important nonetheless. Remember though, this is one of many cases. I just want to really like drive that point home with everyone, that many cases right now, and I believe they're being heard by a judge in Florida. What they did was they took all these federal cases, kind of blocked them up, and then this is the judge who's hearing them out. This is a different one. There's one, but this is one that apparently is not going through anymore. I saw some people who have more legal knowledge than I do kind of pointing out some, like, I guess not discrepancies, but like weird aspects of this, of like, hang on, it's maybe not so straightforward. But I definitively know that this is one of many lawsuits, many lawsuits against Robinhood. Robinhood Markets scored a victory as a federal judge dismissed a lawsuit accusing the firm of colluding with electronic trading company Citadel Securities to stop investors from buying GameStop and other meme stocks in January. Is kind of the headline there. White House says U.S. has discussed a possible joint release of oil from reserves with China and other countries. So with a talk like that, I bet oil prices are dropping. Hang on, let's check out some oil. What's crude doing? Crude. Oh, actually up a little bit, but overall you can see it's taking a bit of a breather. I would say support is somewhere between 74 and 75, right in this region is what I would personally be watching on oil. White House says it is vital to confirm ambassador to China. I was also reading during break that they're possibly considering a boycott of the Beijing Olympics, but we'll see how that goes. Another year, and I'm still once again not invited to the Olympics, which is a shame. They should have stair stepping as an Olympic challenge. Even if they did, it's not like I would make the team, but they should still have that. Why is day trading, hashtag day trading, trending on Twitter right now? What is going on with this particular hashtag? I guess people are just saying hashtag day trading. You know, I really commonly do not engage in a day trade, but I'm currently in one. But if you guys want, I could leave it up to you, or I could leave it up to the magic flipping quarter. Currently, I have puts on RIVN, RIVN. I got them early this morning. My thesis was simple. I've been stating how I think IPOs are overpriced. This one ran to extraordinary heights. At one point, it was valued over $150 billion. The company has delivered 156 vehicles. It doesn't make sense for a company to be valued at $1 billion per vehicle that's been delivered. It's just way too much hype. The cart is definitely in front of the horse on RIVN. So I decided to get some puts, and what I did was, it was kind of like a half lotto play. It wasn't a full-on lotto play. So I say a half lotto play because the expiration date is tomorrow, but when I did it, it was pretty much at the money. I got it at 132. And I think at that time, maybe we were trading at 133, 134, something like that. So it's 132s that expire tomorrow. I have 5 of them. Currently, I'm up 90%. You know, I'm already in the money. And I have 5. So we could... The smartest move, the most conservative move, is to lock in my $2,500. That's the smartest move. For people who have a little bit more of a risk appetite, the better move, the risk reward move, is probably to lock in 3 and let 2 ride. But that's not why we tune in here. We tune in here because you're all my financial advisors. I'm not the financial advisors. You're the financial advisors. So, like we normally do, day over day, I come to my financial advisors and I ask you, what should I do with my money? How do I turn my money into more? So this is going to be kind of a twofold thing. Question number 1 is, do you guys want to answer it? Or should we go to the quarter and we'll let the lucky quarter decide what I do with my RIVN position? We could do a poll and you guys could vote. Or other option is we could just go right to the quarter and do a virtual flip of the quarter and see how this all plays out. We'll see how this. All right. I want to know if we're going more quarter or poll. I'm surprised. More poll. Quarter. The quarters are coming in though. Poll. Okay, a lot of polls. Okay. I'm seeing more polls. Someone just said, ask Elon. All right, so let me see how I can create this poll. I only have 2 options. So I can't do an in-between. All right. Matt's RIVN puts. Be smart or YOLO. All right, these are our 2 options. All right, I put the poll up. Let's see how this goes. We're going to have, I don't know, I guess we could let that run for about 15, 20, 30 minutes. But Matt's RIVN puts 2 options, either be smart or YOLO. There's this whole concept of don't give financial advice on social media, and that's fine. But I don't see why Pico influencers can't receive financial advice from their viewers. Like, I don't think there's a rule against that. Whoa, 50-50 so far. This is crazy. This is crazy. We'll see how this one plays out. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. One of these days, I feel like a real financial advisor is going to see this and, like, lose it. Someone said this is content. Wait, is it really this close? Wow, look at the audience. Some people are trying to be smart. Other people are saying YOLO. 50-50. I like it. Folks, my financial health is in your hands. I just want everyone to know that. If I end up going hungry this weekend, it's because of how you guys led me. 51. This is crazy. This is as divisive as U.S. politics. 51%? I'm losing my mind right now. Why is it so close? 52. 1,000 people have voted? Divisive. I know that I'm a very divisive member in this financial commentary ape community, but this 51-49, you guys are at each other's throats. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's like the Brexit vote. All right. Well, it's so close that I'm going to give it more time. This is a nail biter. This is a nail biter. This one says I closed my eyes and voted. Not my money. Where are we at? Hey, not sure if you already checked this. CURV, love the show, very informative. I have not checked CURV, but I will write that down. Can we vote again? Is that a naked vote? Exactly. CURV. Is Bored Ape Yacht part of the ape community? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't really get to define who is and isn't in the ape community. I think Bored Yacht Apes, like those NFTs are pretty cool. Do you know anything about Engine Coin? Yeah, NFT-based crypto. Not the most popular one, but it's still pretty popular. I would say it's like on like the same level of flow. Showing some faith in chaos. Huh? Crazy. This is so funny. I changed the setup for the punchline. They close, gotta flip the quarter. This close? Yeah, it's literally at 50-50. You guys are gonna make me flip the quarter anyway. It is perfectly 50-50%, and 1,700 people have voted. Folks, what am I even gonna do at that point? You guys are messing with me. I can't. I thought my financial advisors would be a little bit more straightforward with what I'm supposed to or not supposed to do. Not a 50-50 perfect. Imagine going to your financial advisor's office and they're just like, oh, yeah, maybe, but also maybe not. They like just kind of shrug. This is the worst financial advice ever. More poll, new. I don't think I can give more than 2 options. Unfortunately, this is a nail biter. This is a nail biter. Can you explain how to use Fibonacci retracement and also look at a ticker REE? REE. Let me write that down and I will not concede. I demand a recount. You guys are doing this to me as Theta is burning me alive. They expire tomorrow. The indecisive actions of the community right now, it's costing me money. It's costing Theta. Are you guys pinning it to 50-50 just to screw with me? All right, where are we at? Double down, I dare you. All right, where are we at? LGVM. LGVN. What was the other one? REE. REE. And then we also have a Fib retracement. Okay, so a Fib retracement, yeah, I could actually show it right here. Fib retracement would be something like this. So a legitimate retracement. Well, hang on, that's not drawn properly. Fib. Why is it, I guess, to the downside? No, hang on. This is not right. I guess I end up using extension more. Why are these percentages all off? Oh, no. Never mind. Okay. So I think they just must have updated it. So the percentages are on the left. 0%, 23, 6%, 38%, 50%, 62%, 78%. Use the left number for the percentage. And then in the parentheses, that's actually the equity value or whatever you're looking at. So this right here on RIVN is the Fibonacci. And a lot of people like this to see, okay, like, for example, we came down here and then the bounce was back up. It was a 23% retracement. So Fibonacci, it's just a very famous sequence of numbers that people have noticed the patterns play out in many aspects of life and nature and yada, yada, yada. And they found that sometimes there's utility of that in the stock market. So for example, 100% retracement of anything is basically it comes down and then it comes back to wherever you started it. So of course that's 100% bounce back because you're at your original value. And then you have the fibs are the ones that people look at are the 23.6, 38.2, 50, 61.8, and 78.6, and then 100. Of course, it gets more, and then that's in the realm of Fibonacci extension. But really, people just use this to kind of map out and see if there's like support or resistance. I use Fibonacci extensions more than retracement. I use extension when we're breaking out to new highs or new lows to see where it could possibly go. 1,900 votes, but only 800 likes. Oh, that's a good point. Folks, if you haven't already, I'd appreciate that like to help me out this video. Over 2,200 people have voted. I know you guys are actively clicking away. It would be one thing if you had an excuse that you're secretly listening to me while your manager thinks that you're doing work, or your spouse thinks that you're doing, I don't know, work in the garage, but I would appreciate a little help with the algorithm. But if not, that's all right. I'm just appreciative that you voted anyway. Makes me feel more confident in this decision. Nothing like crowdsourcing your trades. Always a solid idea. I only like polls. This community is perfectly balanced. So we have some people who are YOLOers, and then I can't believe this is 50-50. All right, we're going to give it another minute and a half. We're going to go to the 10-minute mark. I can't believe it's 50-50. This is going to edge out by just a couple votes. This is crazy. I'm excited. Let's just wait 8 minutes. We'll let it run up to 10 minutes, and we're going to see how it plays out. Well, you may need some Cheez-Its this weekend. Jose, what's going on? The only time they ever get this refined and orchestrated is when it's funny. Switch accounts and vote again. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, less than a minute, folks. We're almost at 2,500 votes. We're going to see how this one plays out. Nail biter. Nail biter. We have about 30 votes to go, and then we're at 2,500. I feel like that's statistically significant. That's over half the audience has voted on what we should be doing in this trade. Please just YOLO. Someone says, trust me. All right. We're over 2,500. We're closing in on this. All right, 10 minutes. Let's end the poll. We're ending the poll. Let's see the final results. Who's the winner? Who's the winner? Who's the winner? Oh, wait. YOLO. YOLO won. Wait, how do I get the exact details? YOLO apparently edged it out. It says 50-49. It's YOLO. Whoa. I wish we could get the exact count, but I guess it's not that detailed. But YOLO won. All right. You know, I wish I could be smart. I wish I could be a good teacher, but you guys have chosen entertainer instead. Someone said recount, rigged election. In the words of Ivan Drago, if he dies, he dies. Synthetic votes. Well, here's to hope into a RIVN gap down tomorrow, I suppose. Don't forget the mail-in votes. 50-49 is an automatic recount. I think they have to do that to show you who like the winner was. I thought it would give me the exact numbers. It didn't. Someone shorted your poll. Well, I guess we're here now. It was rigged. YouTube about to nuke his channel with these rigged election comments. Probably. They're going to think that this is super political. They're like, why is this kid who's wearing a frog hat talking about the election? And then they're going to yell at all of you for giving financial advice. Just wait on that one. You think I'm in trouble? Wait till YouTube sends you guys an email. Were you giving that poor Matt Kohrs character financial advice? I see it no different than when everyone participated in Elon's poll of should he sell 10%, except his was a $20+ billion decision and mine was a like $3,000 decision. My mouse wasn't working. Clear voter suppression. Well, YOLO win. I hope you guys know something I don't know. Maybe we should look into some of the info about Rivian at this point. Currently valued at $108 billion, which also means maybe you guys are onto something, because let's do a little bit of math. So Lucid has delivered more vehicles, has a market cap of $74 billion. Ford, which has delivered millions of vehicles, has a market cap of $78. So Ford, 78, Lucid, 75 roughly, GM, 90. So Rivian is still worth more than all of these companies. GM and Ford have delivered literally millions of vehicles. Lucid has less so, but it's also on a crazy run lately. What's Volkswagen coming in? Volkswagen, 137. So now Volkswagen has recaptured, and then Toyota should also be quite a bit more at 258. So basically right now it goes Tesla, Toyota, Volkswagen, and then I guess GM. Or no, Rivian, then GM. Yeah, I mean, Rivian needs to drop another $108 billion or $18 billion, excuse me, to be the same market cap of GM. So right now, Rivian, a company that has delivered 156 vehicles, is the fourth most valuable auto player on the planet. I think you guys are onto something with your YOLO bet. Maybe not on an intraday action for options that expire tomorrow. Like maybe in the short term we got it wrong, but overall I think your thesis is a good one. Someone hand me a moose head. I'm storming my mom's basement immediately. Let's go, Brendan. Oh man, oh man, interesting. Well, now I'm a little more nervous. We got to see what's going on. All right, let me check out the flow on this stuff. Rivian, the flow is bearish, 53 to 47. Let me double check that with another website. Let's see what we can actually find out here. Log in. All right, let me search on RIVN. The flow apparently on Cheddar Flow for the same, so Unusual Whales is saying bearish, Cheddar Flow is saying bullish. Well, that's awkward. That's really awkward for me. You know, it's like, which one do we trust there? Which one do we possibly trust at this point? I'm stalling. I'm not stalling anything. You guys already voted. I'm honoring. I'm YOLOing it till tomorrow. Like, that's already decided. It's 50-50, but apparently the YOLOs must have, I guess, edged it out by a couple votes. YouTube said that the YOLOs won. And I can't do a recount because that's not honoring the first poll. Imagine all the people who went through the effort of clicking yes or no, number one or number two on the first one. They're going to say, hey, were my efforts not worth it? And I don't want to do that to all the original voters. That would just be rude. So, I mean, it's in there. It's, the vote's been cast. The numbers are in. It was a nail biter, but hey, a winner's a winner. You got to honor that. I'm just trying to really psych myself up that this was a smart move, but we'll find out. Share recount on Matt's votes. You are listening to us? Of course I'm listening to you guys. You guys voted. Time for another vote on which site to believe. I voted twice. I'm sorry. Arrest me. I demand a recount. Someone hand me my hand ties. No. Hand the hand ties to me. No. Tie my... No, not my tie. Dag nabbit. Wake up, sheeple. It's true. This is BS. I'm smart money. YouTube is using a dark pool. Yeah, it seems like we did lose a couple votes somewhere here and there. So someone might want to do a little bit of dark pool checking. Also, someone might want to check the short ladders as it involves YouTube voting. We got some swing votes coming in. Someone just said we were just joking with the yellow. Hey, you guys voted it. I think this is a good learning lesson for all of us. So sometimes if you vote for a joke, you might have to be stuck with those consequences. Now, you can interpret that however you want, and it may or may not be funny, but I think it was funny. Vote on a revote. Vote doesn't count. Synthetic users voted yes. Damn, forgot to turn off my vote lending. Well, here we go. Let's see how this plays out. If I'm being honest for a second, I'm not the most happy that it recaptured 125. I'd prefer that it gets rejected right here, but let's see how this goes. Oh no, here comes the best RIVN trader on this side of the Mississippi. Short ladder attack on the pole. Roll to 70 puts for tomorrow. Just have everyone tell who you voted for the count and what they say. Hey, Mark, just wondering if the gym story from this morning is related to you looking to move. Cheers. For legal purposes, I can't confirm or deny that. But yes. Unrelated, but been a while since we had rockets on the chart. I think we had rockets on the chart yesterday, didn't we? I think we had rockets. We definitely had magnets on the chart yesterday. Short ladder attack. Check out the Ordex on your pole. I smell something fishy. Folks, let's do some chart reviews. You know, things are a little bit quiet. We still have 25 minutes on the day. Let's do some overall chart reviews. Maybe we can find a potential interesting trade. So right now, the S&P 500 is doing squat. We ran into the same high, but the MACD crossed over. And I just wanted to show you the RSI. What's kind of interesting here, let me make this a different color so it stands out a bit more. Upper band. Lower band. All right. And then this. So we're in a scenario right now, that's referred to as bearish divergence. So basically, we've got into the same level, but if I were to make, nope. How do I do this? What's the hotkey? Check this out. So we basically got to the same level, just above 470. But when this happened, look at the decrease in the RSI, the relative strength index. This maps out momentum. So what this is saying is even though we got to the same price level on November 16th and on November 5th, whatever it was, there was less bullish momentum. The momentum went down. This is why it's referred to as bearish divergence. Same price, or sometimes you even go to a higher price, but the momentum is less. This is commonly indicative of at least a sell-off, maybe a period of consolidation, but this mismatch is telling you that something's iffy about the movement. Now, does this mean that it has to sell off? It has to trade sideways? No, not at all. But if you were to look at the odds of it, that's why it's called bearish divergence, is because there's not as many people buying here the second time around as there was the first time. Definitely something to consider in this scenario. So the way I would look at it is basically it's a non-trade. If it breaks out, cool. We're waiting for open price discovery. Maybe this will just keep ripping. But on the other hand, if it goes below 466, I would think that there's a way to play and maybe make money to 462, or maybe to fall even further. So playing off of this bearish divergence, I don't think there's a play right now, but me acknowledging that there's bearish divergence, I would be looking for the breakdown of 466, 467, and the follow through on this divergence. And then I'd be looking for the support of, and maybe a breakdown of 462. Now, how could you play that? Of course, you could short the straight up market. You could buy puts. You could play volatility. You could get calls on volatility. You could go long on volatility. There's various ways you could play it, but it's more of, okay, that would be my thesis of if it can't hold with the divergence, I'd be looking for the continuation down to 462. But the trigger for this trade would be going sub 466. So right now, to clarify, it's a non-trade, but watching 466 and watching this, if it gets above 470, who knows? Maybe the RSI will go higher than it was previously, and we'll just see a new all-time high from there. Very, very possible. Let's check out the Qs. The Qs, ding, ding, ding. The tech sector did hit a new all-time high. New all-time high. Call out right here. Oop. So this would be when people ask about like Fibonacci extension, this is a good time to use Fibonacci extension. You go from the last relative low to the last relative high to the last relative low, low, high, low, and then you get this extension. And at this point, I would just be targeting these individual levels. So basically 407, 413, 419. So this is my next target, right? Roughly, why is that not drawing? Hello? That would be my next target on the Qs. And that would be my next target after that. So 407, 413, that's what I would be watching for this continuation. Notice the difference here in the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence. It wanted to cross over, but it saved itself. While on the flip side, the SPY did not. The SPY actually went red. It might be small, but it's definitely worthwhile to point out. Now in the Russell 2000, a little bit of a different story. This one's obviously downtrending. Right now, we could just connect the all-time high to the last high. It's trying to hold itself at this support that we've seen. Look at previous all-time high, resistance, kind of a consolidation. That's literally where it's at right now. So it might be attempting to catch itself, but if it doesn't, I would be looking for a flush all the way down to 230. So the way you play this is you wait. Is it going to actually close below it on volume and start to drop and you could play this? Or is it going to bounce and test this wedge and maybe we'll get a breakout from there? So out of these three, I would say the Qs are more of an obvious setup. Right now, the SPY and the Russell both require a form of patience. I don't really see an active trade there. On Qs, the way I would want to play the Qs is actually a little bit different. I wouldn't go long here. I would attempt to make money, and I haven't done this, just to be completely transparent with all you. I think the best way to play this one is to do a put credit spread. So I would do something along the lines of maybe selling the 388 puts and then buying whatever, I don't know, like the 382s or something like that. But once again, a put credit spread, I think, is probably the most conservative way to still get a nice payment off on this Q movement, because I don't think it's going to come down. That's exactly why you would want to get into a put credit spread, not a debit spread. You would sell the higher strike price and buy the lower strike price, and as long as it stays above the higher number, you'd keep the net premium. If you're unfamiliar with the spreads and I'm confusing you, I guess just don't worry about it for now, and I can explain this thread or the spread technique a little bit later. But for those of you who do want to know a little bit about it, let's see what kind of Qs they're suggesting anyway, right? Hang on, let me find on Tiblio what they're suggesting. All right, so we have some Qs right here. They're saying the 396s, so they're even more aggressive. 396, 395, 394, 393, 392 with 20%, 18%, 16%. So even Tiblio is calling out the same thing IMC, like all these Q put spreads. That's their suggestion, a little bit more aggressive. So they're saying basically it's not even going to come below here. I was picking out 388 just because of their relative low. So if you want to be more aggressive, you just pick up that first number. So overall, Qs, I think the most optimal thing right now is a put credit spread. IWM needs patience. SPY needs patience. So that's three of the major indices that we pay attention to. Let's look at some of these other ones. Tesla went up, the MACD crossed over, and then it sold off, but now it's coming back. Very interesting. Right where it's at is a previous resistance level. This one's kind of tough because even if you go long, your support is far away. It's 983. You're risking over $100 per share. So if you're okay with that risk, I mean, percentage wise, it's 10%. Probably that's kind of a large risk, especially because your upside's another 100. So it's a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Generally, you want something that's a little bit better than a 1-to-1 risk ratio. So even this, I mean, I guess if it gets momentum, you could get in and out of like maybe a quick call, like just try to ride the momentum a bit. But I think Tiblio actually just had some spies or Tesla stuff, didn't they? Was that on page 1? What were they calling out about Tesla? Right here. So Tesla, they're very interested in a put credit spread, as in it not dropping. They're very interested in selling the 980s, the 975s, the 985s. 1,000, 990, 980, 970. Okay, we're seeing a lot of that for the Decembers. So Tiblio is calling out, basically saying it's not going to drop below this. In a certain way, you could say this is similar to the Q setup of like, hey, if you don't think it's going to go below it, you would sell this put, you buy another put below it, and you collect that net premium. You sell the higher put, you buy the lower put. That's a put credit spread. Credit spread, not a debit spread. You want to sell the more expensive one and you want to buy the cheaper one. You want to sell the one that has a higher strike price and buy the one that has a lower strike price. So they're basically saying by mid-December, if you think it's going to stay above 970, 980, you can engage in this. Let's take a quick look at Lucid. Lucid taking a realistic breather. I don't know why in the world I have this many lines. Sorry, that was not fun at all. Lucid looks like it's currently on the way for this gap fill. Oh wait, I'm on PROG. Why did sorry, that's why I thought I was in like Lucid mode. There we go. I thought the chart looked weird. I was like, I also know Lucid's not trading at 355. So speaking of Lucid's gap fill, let me get rid of all this junk. Let's clean up this chart a little bit. So we have a gap fill to the top side. Lucid is currently at 46.13. Now, this is a clear level, $45, resistance, finally got the breakout. So 45 is something worthwhile to watch. They tried to push it below it today. They couldn't push it below it, and we kind of based, and we're going to see how that's going to go. If it goes below 45, you're then back to watching $40. But if you see it start to turn around, I mean, in a short-term thing, you could play this gap fill back up to the low from November 17th at 50.31. But with that, that's a little bit of a shorter time frame, and I'd just be watching like, is there going to be momentum or not? On RIVN, what's going on with RIVN? This is why RIVN's tough, just because the IPO is like, it was so recent, we don't have much of a chart. Not much of a chart at all. I'm watching this consolidation area right here. You see how it's basing today? Look, it's right of the consolidation on the second day of trading. So I'm going to see if this can hold. Well, I wish I could see if it could hold, but I got to abide by the rules that you guys gave me. My hope is that it doesn't hold here, I guess, at this point, now that I'm YOLOing it. And I'm watching the low of this consolidation at 115. This is kind of the volume shelf area I'm going to care about. If you haven't heard that term before, that's fine. But the fact that it's below 125, look at resistance and then a bunch of support, 125, 126, it's a pivot area. The fact that we're below it, not good. It's not the most, I guess not concise, but it's not the most confirmed move because our volume is half the volume. Oh, wait, no, never mind. We don't even have 10 days of trading, so I don't even know what the average volume is. Scratch that. So the fact that it's below 125, resistance, support in this region, we're closing below it. To me, that's a sign of weakness. It's definitely a sign of weakness, but I'm going to YOLO this tomorrow just because all of you told me to. Let's see what's going on with NVIDIA. So as you can see, Pelosi and her stock have, the earnings announcement completely messed up my previous technical analysis. But even this is a bit weird. I mean, I love NVIDIA. I truly love NVIDIA. But when things gap up and go red, it's just generally not good. Is it always bad? No, but right away, my mind is like, how can I make money off of this gap fill? Now, I'm long on NVIDIA. I've been long on NVIDIA, and I'm not really the most, I don't really actively trade NVIDIA. But I mean, with this, like, if it weren't NVIDIA, if I was just looking at this chart, if it was a random ticker, I'd be like, yeah, I see a gap fill right here, a gap up going red. Is it going to fill tomorrow? I don't know. Maybe next week? I don't know. But as soon as I see weakness and it like they can't hold whatever the previous day low was, right away I think, how can I make money off of this gap fill? There's various ways to do it. You could do it with puts. You could do it with a call credit spread. You could do it with shorting. You can do it by getting out of your current NVIDIA stock and then buying back on the gap fill. I mean, there's so many ways you could do it. Some are riskier, others are less risky. But now we have 3 gaps. We have one gap to 305, another one to 267, 268, and then we have an additional one to 233. These are all legitimate gaps that I think, given enough time, unfortunately, NVIDIA will fill. I'm saying unfortunately because I'm long on NVIDIA. It doesn't make me in any way happy because I know like my unrealized gains are going to go less and less and less. But if we get down to 233, I'm just going to be buying more. I mean, that's a steal in terms of NVIDIA. If we see 233, I'm definitely buying that gap. That's NVIDIA. What else do we want to look at? We could check out PROG since we clicked on that before. So PROG, yes. Before when we were talking about Lucid's gap fill to the upside, PROG has a gap fill to the downside. Will this get filled? Yeah, I think so. Eventually, given enough time. Once again, I think it will get filled, but that doesn't mean it has to get filled tomorrow, today. It could take weeks, months, years. It's very possible it could take a while. What I'm looking for on NVIDIA is basically for it to recapture this line around 430, 440. We just see this clear wick resistance. If we could get back above that, and then notably back above 465, which is today's high, I'll be kind of looking for this V shape. My buddies and I call it a Larry Williams, either like peak or valley. So the valley is like the downward V, and then obviously the peak would be the opposite when you come up and you break down. Generally, actually right now, you could, this one, my buddies and I, we would define this as a peak. It's a 3 to 5 bar setup, 3 to 5 bar setup. Usually we're looking at the daily, but you could apply this to any time frame. So this would be the peak right here, where you have one bar, another bar where the high is clearly above it, and then the third one right here. This would be the peak. But what's weird about it is sometimes you have to wait for that next one, because depending on what's going on here, the peak could quickly turn into a valley if you just invert that, because this would be, you either have bar 1, 2, 3, that's your peak, or bar 1, 2, and if the next bar goes higher, well, that then turns it into a valley. And whenever you're looking at multiple technical structures, I find it most profitable to use whatever the most recent technical setup is. Not saying, oh, we have this current valley followed by a peak, or previously peak. I like to use whatever the recent one is. And that's a little tidbit that I got from my algorithmic trading days. I still actively do it. Sometimes you have conflicting signals that fire. Some tell you to go long, some tell you to go short. I always use the signal that's the most recent one. That's really getting into the weeds here, but I always just use the recent one. All right, RIVN, we checked that out. We've talked about AMC and GME a lot. What are some other popular ones? Apple. Let's see what Apple's up to. Apple. What is Apple up to? Apple hit a new all-time high. So if you're in Apple, Apple's a part of my long-term investment account. What's Apple up to? Literally worth $2.6 trillion, becoming the, like, once again, retaining the most valuable company in the world. And I'm acting like, oh, like, what's this little scrap of a company doing? The most valuable company in the world. Congratulations if you're long on Apple. I made a video at the end of 2020, it's still on my channel, talking about how I think Apple this year could hit 150, potentially 175, and in an extreme bull case, 200. My first prediction was right. Next one is 175, and I guess my back's a little bit against the clock, because I have about a month and a half to see if this can get up to the 175 region. But just remember, every dollar we add, that's a lot of money. We're talking about a $2.6 trillion company. A 10% move is another $260 billion in market cap. Sometimes you have to have an appreciation for what a percentage move actually means for the company. So this is another example of how you could do a Fibonacci extension. So you go to the previous relative low, previous relative high, previous relative low. And right here, my next stop would be 159. And then after that, I'd be watching 162.30. So the previous low, the previous high, the previous low, and that's how you set up the extension. And you just let this price discovery play itself out. You're in open range. It's blue skies ahead. So that's what I'd be watching. Coming up to that first target of 159.11, then 162.30 is what I would personally be watching there. Remember, a lot of this, when you're doing technicals, it's much more of a art form than a science. There's nothing ever in technicals that's guaranteed. If you look enough, you can find a counterexample or a place where like it always breaks down. You're just looking for setups where you have an edge. For all my poker players out there, for all my blackjack players out there, the market is continually looking for an edge. That's all it is. You look for a situation that's your edge, and then you play that. And you always play it with proper risk management, and you never go all in on one particular thing because there's never a guarantee it's going to work out. Like, it's a game of taking as many data points as you possibly can. Take smart bets over smart bets over smart bets, and given enough data points, that's how you end up being net profitable. Sometimes there's the best setup in the world, and it still just goes the other way. That's fine. There's no such thing as 100%. When it comes to the market, ever. That's why it's just time and time again, especially if you're a short to medium term trader, you're just looking for your scenarios. You take a proper risk to reward setup. Your first thought should be, if it goes south, how much can I lose? I want to live to fight another day. Another way to say that from all these like boring old ass financial advisors, they're going to tell you diversify. I'm telling you the same thing. I do it where I wear like a frog hat instead. So it's really the same message. It's just I have a cooler like costume collection than they do. It's really not much different. Thinking about looking in 200% gains, could you check the technicals IO and Q? I see lower volume. I'm thinking quantum long term, but buy at new AC. I don't really know what much of that means, but I'm happy to look at the chart. IO and Q. Looks like it's finally taking a breather. Look at, you have that bearish divergence. The stock went higher, the RSI went lower. I think this thing starts to sell off. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but we're seeing a mismatch right here. The earnings sent it orbital, which is good. This looks like it's a SPAC play. It must have announced who it was acquiring back in September. But anyway, just from a technical perspective, I know nothing about the fundamentals of this company. The stock has gone higher. It gapped up, went red. We have bearish divergence in the RSI. If this goes below today's low tomorrow, that's the classic Larry Williams peak. It's a mountain peak. I could draw that in for you if that's going to help. So sometimes you have like a peak. This is kind of a mountain. And then you have another mountain. And we're going to give it some snow. And we're going to give it a skier. We'll give him some arms. Gotta give him his skis. All right. So yeah, and then he's gonna go this way. So yeah, classic mountain setup. This is a peak right here. Obviously it's winter season. I know a lot of you are skiers and snowboarders. I think this is useful to use, but you can see kind of a peak setup that we have going on. There's a lot of similarities with winter sports in the market. And I think we all are well aware of that. Feel free, if someone wants to screenshot that and sell it as an NFT, you have my permission. Oh my God, this skier now makes sense. Manipulation shoves another Cheez-It in mouth. Oh yeah, I robbed you of that funny one micro story the other day. Sorry about that. Estate agent rang. Would the viewers like the story for fun's sake? Twitter DM live. Brendan, I think we're all confused there. Is this a skiing story? Where's the lodge and the bunnies? They're at the base of the mountain. If you guys want to know where the lodge and the bunnies are, That's actually on a completely different stock. All right, we're going to get the lodge. We're going to give it a chimney. All right. I don't know how to draw a bunny. This bunny's going south, sorry. I don't know how to. It's going to be a big bunny. A bunny, like a Godzilla bunny type thing. This is embarrassing. All right, you guys are just going to have to use your imagination on that one. But yeah, this is kind of like a Godzilla bunny platypus in a party hat, apparently messed up ears eating this lodge. But yeah, overall, sometimes you just have certain things that are so obviously going to go down, and this might be one of them. I've never heard of this stock before. I don't know what Robinhood is. Robinhood, but the chart looks really, really crappy. So I don't know what to tell you about that, but I do see this bunny platypus Godzilla creature eating the lodge at the bottom of the mountain. But Robinhood looks weak. Never heard of it, but you might want to check that out. Might be something worthwhile to look into. Show us your position on AMC. I mean, you could look it up on public. Just create a public account, and you could see my AMC and GME, among other ones. Why? Show us your position on AMC. Sign up for public. You can see it. Tilray down big. Do you expect to bounce back? My options expire. Resistance seems thin. How do you see tomorrow playing out? One-day plays are extremely difficult. Whenever you have a very short time frame, there's a lot more randomness involved. I don't think it's advantageous to play any form of options really on the marinara industry right now, because it's not a technical play. You're just waiting on federal developments. How's it going? What do you think about RKT bounce if it closes on a hammer today? Also TSM resistance breakout. Let me get rid of this. RKT, isn't that Rocket Mortgages? Yeah. The hammer off of support 15, that's a very legitimate technical setup. I like the fact that you're seeing the hammer bouncing off of support. Your support's close, risk rewards there. That's a solid setup. What was the other one? TSM semiconductor. Semiconductors are crushing it today because of, it's a sympathy play. Nvidia crushed it, so many other ones are crushing it, but you want the breakout of 125 on TSM. The real Jay Hooser. Matt, PFE has a cup and handle on the monthly and COVID is picking up in your... That's unfortunate. It's at resistance. I mean, I don't like to buy at resistance because it's called resistance. You don't know if it's actually going to break out or not. Is this an all-time high for Pfizer? It's about to be. So Pfizer's knocking on the door of an all-time high. But also, I want to point out here, it's not very volatile. Like, this looks like a nice run, but even this drop all the way down here, that's $7. So it doesn't move that much, and it's because it's already a $288 billion company. Once again, a 1% move is pretty considerable in terms of market cap. I see a cup. I see no handle yet. If it gets rejected here and starts to build back around, it might be a handle. I would be concerned about the gap below it, but you're saying that cases of COVID are picking up in Europe. Well, if that's true, I think Pfizer would be a profiteer of that. Oh, whoa, the bell rang. Ding, ding, ding. The casino's closed. Someone said GME and Loopring partnership confirmed. Well, Loopring didn't react to that, unfortunately. Are you sure that it's confirmed? Because I feel like if it was, Loopring would be bought up right now. That's a bad bunny, the one destroying the lodge. The bunny platypus Godzilla creature I've created for all of you. This is something everyone learns at financial advisor school. A lot of people think when you go to financial advisor school, it's something along the lines of, oh, like you're going to learn about risk, reward, and this and that, and stocks and options and blah, 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 blah. Most of it is doodling. That's the secret that they don't want out there in the world, but it's mainly driven by doodling. There might be some financial advisors here who are like, what are you talking about? That is not what I did in my financial advisor school. Well, maybe you didn't take your financial advisor school in a back alley in Philadelphia. I don't know. I don't make up the rules. Entirely different words from what written open micer story. It was a mere 48 hours ago. Jesus H. Corbett. This is like trying to coach a goldfish to play the piano. That is very difficult to do. What do you think about a 95 call option March 18th, 2022 AMC? Oh, I have no idea about that. I mean, I wouldn't engage in options on AMC or GME until I see momentum. I would want to see an uptick in volatility, volume, and like technical breakouts. I wouldn't just arbitrarily buy a leap like that. I don't think that's a good risk reward setup. Overall, thank you for your support. I actually have to film an interview, and then we're going to get that interview posted on Saturday. So I'm going to prep up for that interview. I will also post an update video on this channel in like an hour, hour and a half, something like that. So update video coming out on this channel. And then don't forget about Kohrs Lite, where we just clip all the things that happen on the stream if you miss that throughout the day. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subs. I do truly, truly appreciate it. Update video coming out tonight. I will be streaming bright and early, crack of dawn tomorrow, 9 a.m. Be there, be square. As always, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.